You can't be great at everything. So since 2000, and I believe it was 2013, I have been trying to be a YouTube social media content creator. You have to have one focal point, one focal thing that you have decided to set your mind to. And so I'm going to explain the backstory to why I have now, at this moment, decided that YouTube is going to be the funnel and the main focus of everything else I do. Here's the backstory to that made me make the final decision now. December 3rd, 2025, I started a job at the Camden Yards Oriole Baseball Stadium. And to date, besides working for myself, it was the most money I made per hour ever working a conventional job. So, of course, I wanted to do so well on this job. And I believe I was doing very well. You know, doing the basic things. One, showing up every day. Two, showing up on time. Three, having your safety gear on, your PPE. Four, having your hand tools. Five, willing and ready to work for your supervisor and do what they ask you to do as far as tasks. Because you want to, it's the whole purpose. You're there to execute their thoughts. And then I came into a bump in the road. The bump in the road was being asked to do something that was unsafe and not covered concerning liability. I was asked to, by one of the lead techs, to get on the lift without proper training, without certification, which would have left me being the incompetent person on the lift. Also leaving me and my family to hold the bag if something was to happen to me. This didn't go over well with this lead tech. She pretty much had a whole tantrum, from silent treatment to calling our foreman to let him know, I wasn't listening to her. I wouldn't do what she said. And then talking about me in my face as if I wasn't standing there. And so I explained to him, like I explained to her, that I did not and was not going to get on the lift without the proper training, without my certification, and without the competency. She felt so out of control. She wanted me to try to take the test and study for the test while in the midst of working. So because I felt like I was being badgered, I did call my home office, or the company that I actually work for, just a temp agency, to let them know what was going on. They told me that I could take the test, I could take the training. I would have to stay home to do it because it was a whole day type training. This young lady did not like this at all. She, I guess, felt undermined or whatever. I don't know. But I did. The next day, I was told by my boss and the foreman's boss to take the day, study for the test or whatever, and I did. When I came back, I was told all types of things was being said about me. My job was on the line because I didn't come to work, yada, 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 yada. Right? Excuse me. After that, me and the young lady, we seemed to be getting along fine. I was given tasks to do. I was told exactly how to do it by the foreman. Um, the foreman then wanted me to be the person on that project. But then the young lady intercepted. She was like, yeah, I know he told you to do this, but I want you to do this. Okay. We do something else, really didn't make any really real sense, but hey, I'm not in charge. I was just there to do the task. Then she asked me to go ahead and do what he told me to do up on the upper level. He told me to do a specific way. She told me to do it another way. I kind of did it in between. And the reason for that is because the ladders that I had did not allow me to do them short as she wanted me to. I did explain to her I didn't have a taller ladder, so I had to do it at the length that the foreman previously told me to do it. Well, next day, just like out of nowhere, she did attack me verbally. Not even to the side, but in front of my peers. It took a lot for me to restrain myself. It really did. I really had to talk myself through it. I really had to talk myself through that disrespect, that unnecessary correction. It really bothered me. So I guess you could see it on my face. And so the foreman, while everybody was walking away, stopped me. And, I just kind of got emotional. The tears came out or whatever. And he saw me in a vulnerable moment. And I really didn't want him to see that. So I stepped off and I went to the restroom. A couple of days after that, he left the job. He got another position doing something else. And that young lady became the foreman. The same day she became the foreman. One, she sat me outside in like 9 degrees temperature to terminate cable on a broken lift. The lift stopped in the middle of the air. They weren't charged up or anything. And then at the end of the day, she said to the crew, we don't have that much work. For those who I'm keeping, you received a text. If you didn't, you're going to be off the schedule until further notice. Well, how many of you know that I was one of the ones that did not get I'm coming back? This was New Year's, January the 2nd, 2026. So this job was supposed to last until now. This job was supposed to last for me until March, end of March. And it got cut short to a month. A few weeks later, her boss called me and asked me to go to another location. And again, it was great money, but it wasn't the amount of money that I could have been making over there. The site where she said there were no hours. I then was called back to the job. She called me back to the job. I think it was last week before last. She called me back to the job. In the middle of the week, she called me. And she said, well, she didn't tell me we had overtime. One of my other colleagues told me we had overtime. While I was there on day one, I found out that I was really the only one that wasn't on the schedule the entire time. Other people have been getting 7 days a week and working 12 and 16-hour shifts. So much So much for there is no work. So the second day I was there, I decided I wasn't going to do overtime. I wasn't going to do overtime that day. I did it the first day, but I didn't want to do it the second day. She said it wasn't mandatory, but because I didn't stay that night at 8 o'clock, 8:15 to be exact, I received a text stating that they were done with the cable pulling, which I know was a lie because when I looked at the schedule that went out in the emails, she lied to me again. Everybody was on the schedule. But let me also note that while I was there that first day, this other young lady told me, and she used this. She said she would sit people down under the notion that there was no work. So she's using her position as retaliation against people. One thing I do know is that God said that I'm not mocked, for whatever a man soweth, that shall he reap, and he shall reap a harvest. And I understand that the young lady, she will reap a harvest for her actions towards me. But here I am. I'm sitting back at home. And one of the things I learned about me is I have all these gifts, but if I don't have structure, I'm unable to do it. Like I be doing a lot of thinking, and the next thing I know, the whole day is gone. Like it's like I gotta run out of my head to go do what I need to do unless it's already set up for me to do. And so I have to become my own supervisor. I have to give myself tasks to do. I've been so used to, in all of these years, being the task completer for other people. I have not mastered doing it for myself. I have not mastered completing my own task only by happenstance or if I get a whim of motivation, but on a daily. So I shared all of that to just give some backstory as to how I'm running out of my head and becoming the greatest task executioner or executor of my own life. How I'm writing the script for my entire life, my own life, and then how I'm going to delegate to other people, like people have been delegating to me to get these tasks done. So you all come with me on this journey. It's going to be quite interesting to see how I get this done. I'm about to start writing right now. YouTube is my structure. YouTube is my focus. YouTube, I'm here. I'm going to be here every day. I don't care what it is. At first I was trying to be perfect, trying to have the proper editing. Yeah, you want to have, you want to know what you're doing. You want to have proper lighting. You want to have a great camera, whether it's on your phone, whether you bought a Sony or whatever, or you bought a action camera, whatever you decide to buy to capture these moments. I decided I'm going to be sharing all of these moments. Some things are just going to be just me sharing. Some things is going to be me teaching. Some things are going to be me guiding. Some things just going to be me. I found out some information and I'm going to come back and share it with you about these specific things. That is my life. My life is God first, beauty, fitness, real talk, lifestyle talking. Baby, I ain't ashamed. I've been going through a lot of stuff. I'm 53. I've come a long way. I learned a lot of stuff along the way. I'm a grandmama in fitness. I care about my body. Sometimes I get a little depressed and I eat some little things that make me feel good in that moment. But I get back with it. And I get back to doing what I'm supposed to do and doing what I need to do. But I've decided that YouTube is the way I'm going from now on. From now on, my life is everything YouTube. My life is full-time content creator, full-time documenting, full-time you all gonna see the biz. So I hope that you find this channel to be very engaging. I hope that you find it to be very knowledgeable. I hope that you find it to be a bit entertaining. And I hope that you find it more than anything to be very transforming. I found in 2013 that I love to document. I love to capture whatever's going on, specifically by video, by way of video. And I love the process of editing.